I didn't always have confidence my whole life. I used to not smile and I used to, keep a frown. And now it's like, all I want to do is I want to smile and be happy. And I want to see others smile and be happy. And it took me a while to get there. I had my ups, I had my downs. I remember one year in second grade, I had to move to a new school. Well, so we moved a lot. Longest I lived was 3 years in one place because my parents, always rented. So I moved back and forth from South Elgin to Elgin as a child. But I remember my new second grade teacher would get on to me and say, Chantel, why are you frowning all the time? Why are you frowning? And I would argue with her. I'm not frowning. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just making my normal face. I am not frowning. She'd say, well, you're not smiling. I sure don't see a smile on that face. And I never realized, yeah, well, I am frowning. I'm not smiling, because if you're not smiling, then what are you doing? And I started realizing, how down I was, and I would get depressed. And my depression carried over for many years. Even as a teen, I never felt like I was good enough. I felt I had to change my hair color and change my makeup, even though I'm one who doesn't even like to wear it. But I did that because I felt so low and so down with myself. And it took a lot of pick-me-ups and a lot of self-talk to realize, things and stuff in my life to overcome obstacles. Because I tried committing suicide, and I'm a survivor 3 different times when I was a teen. There was sometimes I sat and contemplated and thought about it and thought about putting a pillow over my face and just suffocating myself to end my life. And then I thought, no, maybe that wouldn't work, but then I did try. I even wrote a few letters a few different times, and I put down belongings that I had that I wanted to go to certain cousins and stuff, and a note from my mom, my dad, my brothers, and just I had it all written down on a piece of paper. And I even sat and thought about different songs and stuff for a funeral, but then I thought no one would care to even have that. So because I was so down and so depressed, I didn't think anyone would even care to even worry about anything when it came to that, as long as hey, I was gone, because there was a lot of things messed up within my life. And I was the kind of person in school I got along with everybody, and I was cool with everybody. You got along with me, I got along with you. You got my back, I got your back. I didn't have this thing where I got to pick sides and be with this certain clique or this certain group, because I've always just been there, and, people, want to help them out and do things. But with my battles, a lot of it had to do with my family life and fighting and different things and stuff and seeing things over the years. And a lot of it had to do with my teaching. I really believed in what I was being taught when it came to the truth, or so I thought it was the truth, this religion and everything that had me frightened and scared. But it also had me with this hope and wanting to save lives and to do what I could. And I was even told how great I was at witnessing informally to people, just going up, and I had my things ready, punchline. I'm going to explain to somebody about the Lord's Prayer and what it stands for and what it means. And I thought I had all my backings I could explain to why we say the name Jehovah at the beginning of a prayer, because if you have a teacher, you don't want to call her Teach, that wouldn't be right. You want to call her by name. I had all those things ready, and thought that this was right and stuff, but things in my head just kind of kept getting messed with me ever since I was a little girl. I couldn't understand. And one of the things I couldn't understand is this little peace symbol. And I, think about it quite often. And I know I've said this before. This peace symbol just always got to me why I was told I could not have this peace symbol. To have this bracelet for me as a child or a teen was considered wrong, or to have a necklace, or to hold up this peace. But isn't peace what we're after and what we're looking for? So those things all contemplated with me, because peace, in order to obtain full peace in my heart, I knew you have to have love, and you got to have full love in order to understand peace, to have peace, because you can't have peace unless everyone's united in love. So I couldn't wrap myself around that, and it just drove me nuts, because this religion, I'm being told that is the truth, and you got to do this way and that way, and the light was supposed to keep getting brighter and brighter at the end, but so many things just kept coming to me. This just doesn't feel right. And so with all those different things and contemplating and just feeling so bad, and I had some negative things happen to me where people were cruel and mean to me, and I shouldn't have been treated that way by my own family and certain friends. I was little at one point when I was a teen, and I was around 15, 16, and I wore a size 5, but I'm 5'1.5", so I'm not that tall. I wasn't anorexic by no means, but I wasn't overweight by no means. I was at the exact weight the doctor told me I should be at. I was healthy. I ran on the weekends. I would get up early on a Saturday morning. Most people want to sleep in. Nope, I'm getting my running shoes on, and I'm going to go run for a mile or a mile and a half, because running's something that I always loved to do. And I would even wake my cousins up to go running with me. I'd tap on the window that one cousin had in the basement, and I'd be like, come on, get up, want to go have breakfast with me at Burger King, but we're running. You got to keep up with me. And I didn't overdo it, but, in the evenings I'd go walks with my mom or sometimes my grandma, because at one point we all lived so close together. And, I just kept up, and I danced, when I cleaned and stuff. So I was able to eat, and I ate pretty healthy. I loved salads, and we had a garden always. And so I could just go pick raw green beans and just like, oh, here's a little, snack as I'm getting stuff ready for dinner. And I remember one time I had just gotten done eating a nice dinner that me and my mom had prepared with my brothers. But when that was over with, it was time to head down the street. Me and my brothers, I have 2 brothers, were invited to go to my grandma's for Saturday Bible study of the Watchtower. And my grandma would get all the grandkids together, even the grandkids who weren't Jehovah's Witnesses, because their mom didn't believe and became an atheist for good reasons. I could see why she would say that. But she would get us all together to have study the Watchtower for Sunday's meeting. And she had ordered pizzas one night. And she, had food for everyone. And they were trying to get me to eat the pizza. My one aunt that was there, and my uncle's wife. And I kept saying, no, I don't want to eat no pizza. I'm full. I can't eat. I mean, I just got done eating dinner that me and my mom cooked. And also, there was a smell that bugged me, because I wasn't used to being around cigarettes and the smell of it. And my one cousins that came to my grandmother's all smelled so bad of cigarette smoke. and the smell was getting to me. And so that alone also caused me not to have, want to eat. But really, I was just full. Well, they proceeded to look at me and tell me that I was lying and that I was too skinny. And my mom's sister went as far as to tell me that I was so skinny I looked anorexic that no guy would ever want to date me. And my uncle's wife, she went ahead and right in agreement with her. There was times where I remember I sat at the kitchen table, and mind you, I could look out the dining room table, okay, and it was a big one, down our driveway, and I could see my one aunt's house, the one that had said those mean things to me. And I remember my uncle's wife, she said that she was going to take me out practice driving because my birthday's in the summer, and I was going to be able to get my license before my freshman year, actually, because of the way my birthday fell. And I was going to be able to take it, you know, basically, before my sophomore year. And so she's like, I'll take you around ECC and stuff, and I'll take you practice driving, because the only person I'd ever been practicing with was my mom and my private instructor that I had. And I remember sitting at that table waiting and waiting. And I waited so long that my brother had enough time to even do a personal sketch of me that I wished I still had. He did a portrait of me. And when he hand drew me, and it was his first time hand drawing a person's face by just looking at him, he made me look like my grandma Ina. So I looked like myself, just a little bit older. I wished I had a copy of that, but the one aunt, of course, that was mean to me then, was before my brother had passed away. He had lived with her for a little while, and she got a hold of his drawing art book. Didn't like the fact he had drawn some mushrooms characters, in the book. So she decided she was just going to throw his drawing book away, and that picture got thrown away too. But anyway, back to me and being younger and just waiting and waiting, and my brother doing that awesome drawing. I get a phone call all of a sudden from Tina. And she tells me, like she was sorry, but her and Deborah got caught up doing stuff. And that's my cousin, who's 6 months younger than me, who everybody always loved. My uncle and his wife always wanted to do stuff with her and her brothers and stuff. And me and my brothers were treated more poorly and more different. And though our father wasn't a Jehovah's Witness, but my cousin's, dad, he was saying he was a witness and everything. And my Aunt Pam, well, I really shouldn't be giving names, but so I've let a few slip. Apologize there. And, we were witnesses, so I don't know if that had anything really to do with it or whatnot. But she says, couldn't take me out practice driving, but yet she had to go right across the street from where I lived to pick up my cousin Deborah, to go out and spend a day of shopping and going out to eat and doing all that fun stuff. I worked when I was a teenager. I got 2 credits when I went to high school. I got a credit for taking job management, learning how to, do taxes and other different bookkeeping things and needs and how to do this and that and presentations and stuff. That was all part of it. But I got to leave school a couple hours early and got a pass and got to go to work. And so I made money. I worked at Carson Perry Scott. And then I worked at a hair salon, and I did that part-time after Carson Perry Scott. And so I also babysat sometimes on the weekends when I didn't have any of those other jobs and made pretty good money. So I had money and I had enough. And I remember one evening, my aunt decides, she wants to go out to Chicago, and she wants to try to find Oprah's restaurant. She's so excited. She heard about it. She's hoping maybe she can meet Oprah. She really loves Oprah, always watched her shows, as my mom and even me myself, did. And some of my other cousins and my brother decided they were going to go to a skate rink that we had, roller rink. And so my aunt went and she dropped all of them off and then came back to her house and was talking about going there. And my mom was supposed to go pick up the kids because that's what they did. They took turns. One dropped off, one picked up, And my aunt looks at my cousin, Deborah, and and there we go, sorry, I shouldn't be saying names again. And we're all sitting on the floor. She looks at her and asks her if she wants her to call one of her sister's friends to come over so she can go with, because she didn't want Deborah to feel like left out, not having any friends with her, because she was going to be stuck going with her mom and dad. And like, how boring would that be? Having to go to Oprah's restaurant with mom and dad. Do you want me to call so and so? I can't, give out names, but to go with. And I just remember my feelings like being really hurt. And, there's been other promises through times and things and stuff that's been done to me as well. And I just remember I went home to my mom and I told her what had happened. I mean, I had enough money in my pocket where I could have paid for Deborah's meal. I could have paid for my aunt and uncle's meal, to be honest with you, because I saved my money, that I would make when I would work. Like, if I would get enough money, I would say, okay, I got enough money, I can buy this entertainment center now, and I can buy a TV, and that's what I did with my money. And so I went through a lot of hard times where I went through a lot of things where I felt rejected by my own family and teased by my own family. And I would stay up at night and I would just bawl my eyes out and cry. I would sleep all day. There was a time I slept 2 straight days in a row and just got up to go to the bathroom, and that was it. Because I just felt like, okay, life's better off if I'm sleeping, then I don't got to deal with things. There's a lot of things that happened that were mean. One of my cousins came over with 2 of her friends, and one girl, she was really mean to me a lot. And I was just taking a nap. I just got done organizing, cleaning my room, had a few clothes left on my bed that were in a pile that were sorted out that I was going to put away later. And my mom told me, after I, of course, woke up from my nap to an interruption, she said, I told them you were sleeping, not even to go upstairs, but they all 3 marched upstairs anyway. I want to let you know, because me and my mom, we had an awesome relationship. And because I woke up to all of a sudden, here's Beth making a ruckus and noise, and all right, well, excuse me, I just said her name again. It's hard. I'm trying not to say names, but hey, I'm speaking truth here, so whatever. And started throwing my clothes around. Then she took a red marker and she took a pad and she colored it in red and she stuck it on, I had a nice swivel wooden mirror and stuck it on there. And then she took another one and colored it red and she stuck it at the end of my wooden oak waterbed. And I just thought, how rude and how mean to do that and to cause that kind of scene and then just to walk off and then leave. So I went through a lot of that too. So it's no wonder why I felt so depressed and so down with life, that I just felt like, okay, maybe it'd be better if I'm not around, because then I won't have all this negative and things that come about. So I know it's real easy for people to get on that negative roll, okay, and feel down. And I know some people that are screaming out for help right now saying they feel down. But you can't let other people's negative aspects get to you. You gotta say no. I'm not gonna let it. That's what they may think. That's how they want to act. It's on them. I know my life's better. I know I can achieve better. I know I'm worth more. I know I don't need whatever it is they're saying. I know, what I'm doing. I know what's true. I know what's right. And you need to stay away from those things. And if you're feeling sad because you don't have certain people in your life, well, there's a reason why they're not in your life. And you need to step back and think about it. And don't be always sad. It's still, I have a hard time. I have 2 teenage boys I love more than anything, more than this world, more than to the moon and back. Could never measure my love for them. And there's times I would just bawl and I would just cry, and I had such a hard time, you know, when I lost them. And I came up with this thing on Facebook, the positive post, and I started writing and doing positive things on there to try to lift my spirits up and to lift others up. And I started building myself up in positive ways and started realizing positive reinforcement and positive talk to get me through my days. And no, I'm not going to let my days be bittersweet. I'm not going to